whoever's here, not rebooting their routers or going to grab a sandwich or just getting things ready. It is 10 minutes of 3, so it gives us, gives me time to get things ready over here. Figure out the sweet spots for the camera and the sewing machine. Let me redo my page so I know I'm up to date with you guys. I think that looks pretty good. Hi Phyllis from North Carolina. I hope you're having a good Friday afternoon. No two live streams are the same. I always have to rearrange everything. Hi, Sue. Laundered Cotton. Oh, God, it's going to be a while since we've done this, so I don't remember everyone's true name versus their handle here on YouTube. Look, I made a star. Whoops, there we go. So I made one block so far while getting things ready for you guys today. And I'm working on a candy cane. Hello, Dawn. Today, in my wine glass, because when I bought them from Sam's, I didn't realize they were for wine, and I thought, who cares, what's the difference? But apparently, I don't know if I've told you guys this or not before, but the shape of this makes it so you can't guzzle your wine. It has it sip it slowly, but if you put in a blackberry ginger ale, it's not easy to sip it. We are working on a paid-for pattern. It's linked down below in the description box. It is the Strippy Improv Holiday blocks. You can purchase them on Etsy. These are for Christmas. I already have the set for Halloween. I just never had a chance to make it. Another North Carolina. So I've already made the star just to practice to see what it's like. I haven't done it completely. I haven't cleaned up the back, and I haven't done the stitching to secure all this. So before I can go into a quilt, of course, it needs to be secured and be nice and safe. Let's turn it. There we go. So now you guys can see it from the top. Hello, hello, everyone. It's our last live stream that I'm aware of. I don't know if I'll pop in again, but our last one for December, our last one for 2022. And I thought for today we would just have some camaraderie fun, just play with some scraps. I can't give you like all the information for how to do these or anything like that. It's a paid for pattern. Just by looking at the pictures on Etsy, you might be able to figure it out if you're skilled at doing this. It's a reverse applique. That's very easy to see. Well, I think it's easy to see. So I thought I would just sew and just chat with everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Not everyone's going to pop in until 3 o'clock. I always start about 10 minutes early just to give everyone a chance to come in. I know when I go onto a live stream and I get the notification because I got busy and I forgot to go there early, when I get to the live stream, YouTube puts a commercial on. So then you got to sit through 1 or 2 commercials before the person comes on, and then they're already in the middle of a conversation telling a story and you have no idea what they're talking about because you were a little bit late, yet on time. So I like to come on a little early and not tell too many fun stories, and I'm always willing to repeat anything afterwards. Had to get my stop the jingle jangles of the bracelet wrist cuff. Yeah, that's how YouTube is. And I get it. I understand it. I mean, first of all, partly my fault for not being there ahead of time, but I just get so involved. I know at 2 o'clock that someone's going live at 3. I know at 2:30. I know at quarter of. But then I just get involved in something and I forget. And before I know it, it's 3 o'clock or 3:30. And I've either missed most of it or just that beginning part. It's just so frustrating. I brought the Juki out because it's got the automatic thread cutter, which I thought would be important for this project. We just have to put up with the fact that it's a little bit louder than the Brother, unfortunately. If it gets to be too much, just let me know. I have the Brother just sitting down there on the floor. I can pick it up at any time and swap them out. What did I want to do? No, I want to trim it first. I got out of my rhythm. Yeah, we're on Florida time still here. That's another thing. You have to know what time zone you're in and what country you're in and what the other person's in. And then some people don't do daylight savings time, and some countries do it before we do it here in the US. I forgot I turned the steam off on the iron because it was just making all this steamy sound. It was crazy. You like the sound of a sewing machine? I do too, but I always worry. I've got the loud traffic going by because it's Friday at 3. I've got a sewing machine that sounds loud, and I just don't want to annoy anybody. Oh, this one's a good one. I spent, first in the morning, I had to, of course, do like your kitchen duties, get the dishes put away from last night, because I let my dishes air dry and I don't put them away at night. And then I had an order, thank you very much, that I had to get out into the mail. And then the rest of the morning I spent cutting strips in preparation. And I couldn't just cut a couple strips. I had to cut a variety, and I had to cut almost all of the colors, just because that's how it is. And I keep forgetting I need a piece of gray for the ornaments when we do that. You never hear the traffic on my lives? Oh, I get so used to it that I don't pay attention to it, but when I edit videos, I can hear it in the background. And I don't know if it's just because I can hear it in the background, or if it's something that's really prevalent that you guys can hear it. Nobody's complained, so either you guys are very nice or you can't hear it. You don't hear the traffic? Good. I think it makes a difference too whether or not you're wearing headphones. I think just listening to it on the TV or the computer, you don't hear as much of the little ambient noise than you do when you have the headphones on. At least that's my experience because I wear headphones all the time. And then when I go out and I watch it on the TV in the living room, I'm like, oh, that's really different. The loud claps of thunder. Well, if I was live last night, you would have heard loud claps of thunder. You would have heard me scream. You would have heard the house rattle. We had so much rain. My yard flooded. If you guys remember any of the front yard pictures, it went all the way up to the fire hydrant. It was almost up to the back of my car in the driveway. The entire road was flooded, a few feet on each side. We just got such a downpour before this cold front came through. It was crazy. It's crazy, crazy. Oh, I heard a noise. It's the cat running around on the bed. Oh, she's so silly. How do I want to do this? 'Tis almost the time to say hello. You ever sew 2 pieces of fabric together when you're doing strings? Watch the temp down here. It was 60 all day long. I just checked it at 2 o'clock and now it's 69 degrees. So 3 o'clock is usually the warmest part of our day. We were supposed to hit 70. But it's only going to last for a little bit because it's going to warm up again tomorrow. I think tomorrow might be 79 or 81. And then again next week we have another cold front, and then we have I think they told us we had 3 little cold fronts coming through before Christmas. Quilt weather, yeah. It's so exciting to actually be able to put the quilt on my bed and stuff. I still put, like, I have a ceiling fan and I have a oscillating fan that I use because when it's 80 degrees during the day and it's still 70 at night, it's still kind of warm to be having a quilt on and stuff like that. But it's been really nice today because it has a really northern breeze coming. The wind is pretty strong out of the north. Not scary strong, but just enough to keep that 66-degree weather was really kind of chilly. And I thought, ooh, if I were to stay outside, I would need to have a little sweater on. Oh, FedEx. FedEx and I aren't on speaking terms today. It's not really, I don't know if it's FedEx's part or not, but my mother sent me a Christmas cactus for Christmas, but it normally comes from a Cape Coral florist, but this time it came from someone in California. They put it in a tall box. The Christmas cactus was this big, but the box was a good 18 to 24 inches tall, and it just rattled everywhere around in there, and the poor thing just, it didn't do very well going from California to Florida. Okay, so there is that. I'm not going to do anything more on that until we know we have more people. Oh no. Oh, it wouldn't be Christmas soon if there wasn't something lost in the mail, right? I actually got really lucky. I was only able to make the star today. I was waiting on a package from Amazon who was supposed to be bringing the fusible heat and bond stuff. And I got real lucky because 15 minutes before I was getting ready to come on, it came. I've been going through so much of this lately. I'm really thinking about getting that box, like the saran wrap box for, it's like $100, but you can just pull it out, and I use so much of it. It would probably be more economical than constantly spending the $8 to $10 on Amazon to get this one. This one's 5 1/4 yards. Oh yeah, the postal strike's over there. It's because it's Christmas time. Wasn't it Canada in the last couple of years that had some really big strikes right around Christmas, so you couldn't send anything to Canada? What's considered cold in Florida? Well, when it gets down below, when it gets about 75, you start wearing your blue jeans. And then, I mean, some people, you'll still go to Walmart and you'll see them wearing shorts and like a heavy hoodie or something like that. The inside of my house is usually colder than the outside, but when it gets down below 70, it's actually cold. 50 is very, very cold. 50, you're sending the kids out to school. They've got a hat on, scarves, mittens, and stuff like that. It's pretty cold. Yeah, 60 is pretty cold. Yep. You got it, Donna. As I said, the inside of my house is always cooler than the outside. Today, I didn't bother opening the windows because I knew it was going to get too cold in here. And this room is different because I have the sliding glass doors and the kitchen windows on the other side of the wall on that part of the house, so that part gets a nice cool breeze. This room is dependent on the one window behind my crumb curtain, and that's the only way to get an airflow in here. There's no cross breeze or anything. So if the wind is coming out of the east, then it really gets me pretty hard. Okay, it's after 3 o'clock. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. We are making, I have to look, we are making the Strippy Improv Holiday blocks. It's a paid-for pattern on Etsy. There's a link below in the description box. I made the star one first to test it out. I still need to stitch down. It's a reverse applique project. I need to stitch down all the way around the star, but I have white thread in and I didn't want to change the thread. Yeah, Jackie, you know, I don't normally use it, but I've noticed a lot now, especially with the Patreon channel, that I'm using it more and more. And now for this, you have to, like for this one right here, I need this piece, this candy cane, and the candy cane is about 8 inches tall, and at the widest, it's about 6 inches wide. So you really go through a lot. With the star, I just left, you can't see it, but I left all of the heat and bond. Where did I put my star? I put my star somewhere. I have the star. It still has all of the fusible on the back of it. Oh well, I misplaced it somewhere. So you got to figure a whole piece like this, so I cut out the center, it's got all that fusible on it. So this time when I'm doing these, because it was the first block I made, I wasn't sure how to do it. So this time I'm doing the window technique. So you're still using a lot, but at least I'll have this to do mug rugs with. I didn't bother with the candy cane because you were going to take out such a small amount anyway. Really? If you look at her Instagram and her Etsy shop, she does these in all different colors. Right now I'm using a calico, keepsake calico from, I almost said from Amazon, from Joann's. So it has that nice mottled black look I like. I found this really great black in my fabric storage, but, oh, I cut the selvage off. But when I took it outside to check the true color, because of the lights in here, it was actually green. There we go. Oh yeah, just keepsake calico, no special names to it or anything like that. I actually like this brand from Joann's. It's a pretty good quality fabric just for small little quick projects like this. This is going to be, yes, this is going to be wall hangings. I saw her, she did a pattern of 4 of them in her Etsy shop and stuff, and I really like that look, so you could do 4 of the same or 4 different ones, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, well, Sue, you like to be cold. My AC is set at 79, which is reasonably comfortable. You can feel the difference in the summer from walking outside to walking in the house, and that's all that matters. There are some times of the day where, like when I'm working in here, I definitely have a tabletop fan going and the ceiling fan, just because it gets a little stagnant and a little hot, even when the AC is running. I don't want the AC to run all the time because it's expensive to run the AC on the electric here in Florida. Especially with my company, mine's a cooperative, so they tend to charge a little bit more than your basic electric companies. And I put the heat on when it hits about 72, because 72 with the cement floors, because there's no basements here in this part of Florida at least, so that the floor is really, really ice cold, the air stays cold, the sun doesn't heat it up very much, so yeah, I put the heat on at 72. At 62, I would be bundled up in a corner with a heating blanket wrapped around me. I saw something, Donna, about bubble wrap. I don't know if you mentioned it or I think I saw someone else doing it. I was watching a British gentleman that I just recently found, and he was showing how he winterizes his apartment, and he put bubble wrap up. And all he did was like spritz it with water and put the bubble wrap up because it would cling to it. And I thought, wow, that's really kind of brilliant. Hi, Laura. Okay. So let's do things a little backwards since I had already started on stuff. I'm going to turn this candy cane into a block. Usually when I work with you guys, I get real messy. Well, when I work by myself, I get real messy too. So I'm going to try to keep these neat so I can make more blocks. Put them in my little rainbow bucket here. They're not as neat, but we'll pretend like they are. So my candy cane, I need to put it on the back of a block. So this gives you an idea what size these patterns are, because this is an 8.5 by an 11 sheet of printer paper. And the block itself starts out at 9.5 inches. So then you can determine if you want to have this angled a little bit. Do you want your candy cane straight on, or do you want it angled? I like the idea of having it angled a little bit. And the one thing to keep in mind, if you're doing this pattern specifically, I mean, you can do it any way you want, of course, But this one is meant to be trimmed down to 8.5 inches. So you can find the halfway point on your block. I'm not sure how much that would help with the candy cane itself, but I think that looks pretty good. Thank you so much, Terry. Thumbs up for Rob. Woohoo! Okay, WI, that's Wisconsin, right? I was just watching the Big Family Homestead, and they had a, what they called it, a blackout for the day. They had a nasty storm come through, and they were out of power for a day. What are you doing? It's really beautiful to see the country with the trees and the snow and everything, but I have never had this problem. Why are you doing this? Are you mad because I turned off the steam? Still many without it? Wow. No, I don't want to come visit. Not in the winter. Normally I just do a quick run with the iron just to get it to stay in place, and then I go through and wow, this is the new stuff. I'm going to be quite upset if this isn't going to work properly. Did Amazon send me old stock? I've never had old Heat and Bond before. Your spring, do you have a spring? I heard you have like 2 weeks of summer and then the rest is just winter. I know you guys have a really short summer up there. It's really cold. You have a lot of cold. Look at this. Did I not turn my iron on? Is that the problem? No, the iron's on. Now that is frustrating. Try it from this side. But you have a lot of the things that I love, like all the different tractor things. I love to go to like bumper car races and tractor pulls and the county fairs. When we have the Lee County Fair, they have this little small spot where you can see some of the animals, but you're not seeing a variety. You're pretty much seeing a horse, a cow, and some chickens and some bunnies. It's not like animals or anything like that. And you know, just a little 4-H. 4-H is definitely not a thing down here in Florida. At least not in my area. I know northern Florida, it's more agricultural up there. Wow. Tornadoes, is that normal in your area? We got lucky. This storm came through from the one, if you watch the news at all, Louisiana just had those terrible tornadoes came through. That was the cold front that came down and got us. For it to be as strong as it was and reach this far south into Florida, this cold front actually made it all the way past the Keys. That's very unusual. Every 15 minutes the weather can change. Yeah, I think they say that just about everywhere. If you don't like the weather, wait a few minutes, it'll change. There. Excuse me. I turned the steam off because it's gurgling over there, making a lot of noise for whatever reason. Okay. Because you're not, I don't think you're supposed to put steam when you use Heat and Bond. I think you're supposed to just leave it regular. And I know you're supposed to hold it for so many seconds, and yeah. Am I seeing all of the chat? Did I even double check that? No, I'm only seeing top chat. So if I've missed you, my apologies. I forgot to put it on live chat. Wisconsin. That's funny, Donna, because it showed a lot of your chat, but it didn't show you saying Wisconsin. A glue stick. You know, I thought about that for some of them, but like the star and the circle and stuff, I thought, you know, Heat and Bond's just going to be easier. I could always use like the tape and stuff like that, or just draw it on there, but you know, I just wanted to be sort of in a lazy version of it and use it. Yeah, I usually use steam too, but it was annoying me listening to a sputter over there. Okay, then for this pattern, what you do is you have to remove this. This time you cut right on the line, and I want to be able to save that part. So what I was doing is I was taking my little seam ripper. This is one of those fun ones that go on your fingers somehow or another. I never figured it out. I know it's a, yeah. So I just take it and I put it right on the line and I let it rip it a little bit. I'm not brave enough to cut the whole thing out with the seam ripper, though I imagine you could. What was I using? I was using these because they're smaller. A damp pressing cloth. I've never tried that. And then cut right on the line so I'm not like cutting it, because you got to save this fabric. So I don't want to start in the center and cut to it, because then I'll have it cut, you know, into my shape. So I thought if I'm going to use all of this heat and bond and this fabric that I'm cutting out, that I'll save that. And even though it's always black, I thought I can make a smaller version of something and put it on the inside of, on the cover on, I'll show you in a second, once I get my tongue unstuck. So I was trying to think of ways to not consider this to be wasteful. And this is a little bit, to reverse applique is a little bit more nerve-wracking for me, because I have to be precise and cut exactly. There's like not much wiggle room to it. And yeah, I know even a kindergartner can follow cutting on a line, but it's not my normal way of cutting, slow and paying attention. Remember, if you hold your scissors still and you move whatever it is you're cutting, you'll get more of a rounded area versus the choppiness. Now I am using short scissors because I just needed something that would be easier to get into certain places, but it'll be fine. And I don't think I'm giving away any of the money shots here because of, you know, it's a purchase pattern. So I have this. So I thought if I made a small candy cane, or even just cut the fabric out of a red and white striped stuff, and I could put it on here, and it would have a thin black outline shadow on it. And then that way I can reuse this and not be wasting this. I mean, I can use it and make little eyes for snowmen and stuff like that, but this way I will have all that extra to do something fun with. So I have that all cut out, and then I take this guy. Let me just move this out of the way for a moment. So I have this guy, and he's all pressed nice. I did it again, look at that. You guys didn't catch it because you didn't know what I was doing. One way or the other, you have to flip the candy cane, because otherwise it fits perfectly this way. So this gives you an idea of what it was supposed to look like. I will just have to make extras so that I can have, if you're going to put them in a square anyways, I personally would like the two of them to go together like this, so they're like kissing. So it doesn't hurt to have an extra one going the wrong way. I got hair everywhere. I must be shedding. Yeah, you could definitely, you can do joy with that. So that's what that's supposed to be. Now let's actually sew a block. I need another drink. I should actually have wine. I don't like wine. Do you guys drink wine? I'm not much of a wine drinker. Oh, the Lori Holt quilts. They look so nice. Yeah, I'll make, well, I'll need one. I have this one already made, so I'll have to make a reverse background for that one. And I have this already cut out, so I'll have to make a reverse candy cane to fit into this one. And then I can put them You know, I could put it like this in a block and have this one there so that they'll be like that, or I can put this one down diagonally from it so they'll be going in two different directions. So it's not a problem. I probably would have made this again anyway. I just showed you as a reminder, and once again, I've made this mistake twice this week, that you need to reverse applique when tracing it onto heat and bond. I don't think I saw that in the pattern, because this is the only one that it matters to. So I'll have to read the pattern again to see if she mentions it. But yeah, oh well. It's not like something that's never going to work and I have to throw it all away. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Let's make an ornament. So I have this. My ornament's all traced out in pencil. I do need a piece of gray fabric though. And I need to cut out precisely, so I'll need to do that. Black & Decker got lost but showed up after my, oh. Did you receive my email? BC Tracy, do you have a different email besides BC Tracy? And when did you send the email? I received an email earlier today from, I'm going to say it wrong, so I won't, but I'll say it anyway. Something like Wildberry or something like that. I don't remember what it was. But if that's you, then yes. Hi, Linda. I'm glad you couldn't make it. The only thing you've missed is me making a mistake, so hang around. Guaranteed to make another one. I am really good at making mistakes. And I think, well, I know it's because I tend to think about 12 different things and move too fast, so I end up making mistakes. Because if I thought about it, I know that you're supposed to reverse the applique for letters for heat and bond. I just never think about other types of applique. I was trying to remember, I need to cut it 1 by 3. So let me move this out of my way, because I'm going to need at least one of these to do this with you guys. Trim off the extra. Hope this is it. Is this one even 3? No, so it's gonna have to be this way. We will cut it. You know, I love this purple mat and everything, but it just makes it so hard to see a lot of the fabrics. It's just not easy to see the fabrics on it. I've seen some people have been purchasing the white mats, and they're those ones that they're not self-healing, they're plastic. But I really do like the self-healing. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I like cutting on something that's a little more squishy. The plastic ones are really firm. Sure I'm cutting the right size here. Okay. And this is that really sparkly fabric, so that'll be fun to have for the top of the ornament. I find that that's the hardest part with the ornament, is getting something that's nice and sparkly. Cards came today. Woohoo! Measure once, cut twice. Happens to me all the time. Yep. Well, I don't tend to learn from my mistakes, because I can only learn from, I will never make this mistake with this project again, but I've already made the same heat and bond mistake twice this week. So I will make the same heat and bond mistake over and over again. I just won't make this particular mistake, hopefully, again. I was using the other one all week, but I think they both just need to be really cleaned well, because it was doing weird things. And the only thing I'm having problems with this one is every now and then black stuff comes out of it, and when it gets like, it feels rubbery when I'm pressing down on the fabric. It like drags it, and then there's this little black stuff. I can just go like this and brush it off. So I don't know if it's because of my water or if it's because of like dust or something, but you'll see the little black stuff coming out of the holes, and then it just comes onto the fabric, and I don't know, it's annoying. I don't know if it's from this. I don't know if it's bits from this black rubber that's getting into it or something, but it's meant for the iron. You're supposed to rest the iron on that. Am I the only weirdo? Is someone else having those problems? Yeah, I did see something about spraying the mat. I haven't done that. I wipe mine down a lot with wet washcloth. I don't know if that counts, but I have to put these scissors back here because they're really sharp. I can't, I learned how to do quilts. I'm sitting on my t-shirt. I learned how to do quilts with a steamy iron, and I just tried not using steam in it, and I like the steam. I like the steam. I got to have. Okay, let's do a quick vote. We've got red, orange, yellow, green, purple, and blue. What color? I'm going to make one color for this ornament. I'll wait a second for you guys. You can choose whatever your favorite color is. Purple, any, blue. Because the star is yellow, I used red and white, so I'll probably skip those. I have a tree, so I'm probably going to use green for the tree. 2 purple and 2 blue. Well, I love purple, so let's do purple. There's a really big delay from you guys to me, and if you guys are still talking, I'm really sorry, but we're going to do purple. I chose these purples. And when I chose my fabrics, I had such a really specific, very sarcastic choice of fabrics. Oh, this is a small piece. It's dark, it's light, it's mostly purple. I'm going to use that. Hi, Robin. You're allowed to be late. The only thing you missed is me making a mistake. And as I mentioned, I'll probably make them again. Now with this one, I have the opportunity to do just straight across and have everything nice and even, which is nice, but that's a little boring, so I'm gonna make mine crooked. Jody, you made it. You went to Hobby Lobby? Oh, I love my Kai scissors. I mix up, this one I don't use too often because it's smaller, but it's great for this project. I kind of go between using these. These are the Ginger ones. And then I was very blessed to get a set of the Kai scissors, so I can use the long ones or this one. But then I have my cutting out the fusible paper ones. And then I really like this one too, this really long titanium one. I think this one's from Amazon. This is such a long blade on it. I think it's for dressmaking shears or something like that because it sits flat on the table. I love this for like cutting batting and long strips of fabric. I can't use just 1 or 2 pairs of scissors. Hobby Lobby. We have a Hobby Lobby here. It's been here for several months. I just haven't gone to that part of town. It's not mileage very far away, but it's traffic a decent amount away, and I just haven't wanted to deal with it. Remember, fabric has 2 sides, so you can always go and use either side. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a mixture of lights and darks and such like that. Is that a Westcott? These, I think they are. These are Walmart specials, so I think they are Westcott. These are from the Dollar Tree. This one's from Walmart. But I do remember seeing the Westcott. Oh, I have, yeah, it's probably Westcott because, stay there. Those are the ones you can pick up a lot at Dollar Tree and Walmart, and these are Westcott. I'm not a fan of this version, though. I don't like those. They're not heavy enough in my hand, and they don't cut very well, but the other ones do. Oh, these? I have no idea. I received these in a package as a gift, and I happened to see these on Amazon. When I was looking at scissor packages and stuff for something else, I came across these. So these must have been from, at least you can get them on Amazon. because it came in a set of 3, I believe, because that's the only 3 I have hanging up here. I like having my scissors hanging on a curtain rod right over the table. Hi, Helen. Lurk away. You're fine. Ooh, salmon. Oh, Beverly's making salmon. I'm sure Beverly's got snow. She gets a lot of snow over in her area. So I'm going to just put this one slightly diagonal. And when you're doing reverse applique, you want to make sure you go probably, I'd say, 1 inch or so past whatever design you're doing when you're doing this type of a cutout. That way you can move your design a little bit and have some wiggle room. The candy cane was a little tougher, but the things like the star and the tree and the ornament or the bauble, they're easier to do. The little extra. I'm sticking with the 1/4 inch stitching line, seam line, but I'm holding back. This is, I don't know what this is. This is like some weird sheet material or something. I found it in my stash. I keep telling myself I need muslin, and I just keep forgetting to buy it. And I don't know about you guys, but I have to stand up to cut with scissors. So I cut off this extra, so I don't want the darkness showing, but I need to make sure. You can always cut it from the other side, I guess. I just need to make sure it's not popping through because of the lighter color. If it were a darker color, I'd be like, whatever. Now, I don't like finger pressing projects like this. I find for me, my finger pressing skills are not good enough. They don't lay flat enough. And if you're going to be stitching right onto a fabric base like this, you want to make sure that whatever you're stitching isn't going to, like if this had little mustaches or something on it, you want to make sure it's not going to come through onto your fabric. Singer scissors. I heard that, yeah, I've heard they have soft handles. I think I saw them. Yeah, because they have those big chunkier handles. I've seen those at Joann's, I think. Scissors can get to be pretty expensive, and most of the time what I need is just a Walmart special. That way I have my good scissors that are only for doing special things with fabric. Now, I was told with my Kai scissors that I can cut just about anything I want. And I've tried, I used to use the Walmart special. It's probably not the nice thing to say, but the Walmart special scissors, the school scissors. I would cut through the zippers with those, put them down, pick up a good pair of scissors, and cut the fabric around my zipper pouches. But now, the zipper, the extra zipper tape with the Kai, it just goes right through that plastic zipper like butter, like they say. So I just go ahead and do it because I was told that you can either send these off or take them somewhere and get them sharpened. And that you can, I was watching a video of another zipper pouch purse maker, and she uses her Kai scissors and cuts through zippers all the time. And she's been doing, So Sweetness on Sundays. I think that's what her name is. She's been doing it for 2 years and she hasn't had to sharpen her Kai scissors yet. So I'm going to keep doing it. Because if someone else does it, then it must be okay. Then I can decide how much I want to overlap and diagonal. I might just want it a little bit. Some of them I might want more. And really, you can go shorter than 1/8 of a 1/4 inch if you want. You can go down closer to 1/8 of an inch if you need to squeeze a little bit more width out of your fabric. I'm going to try sitting down and cutting. Let's see. I got to get up to iron anyway. Those of you that have your station so that you can just swivel your chair around and iron and cut and everything, I'm jealous of you. I can't do that. It's also better for my back and such if I make sure I have to get up more often. Sarah from So Sweetness, yes. I've done it with an old rotary cutter before, but I don't know, it just seemed a little dangerous for me. Now, when you're doing some type of a project like this, I was thinking too, you can put a narrow strip of black or white if you want to like add some highlights to it, or you can do white and purple and just make it so it's a little bit different. And you can also take something like this, and if you want, you can add some of your specialty stitches on here, especially on this ornament one. You can decorate it up. Like if you, and I was thinking would be good too, is if you did this like an Easter egg, and then you could put all kinds of specialty stitches on there, whether by machine or by hand. The tree, you can add some garland and some beads and ornaments and stuff on it. I think it would be really fun to go a little bit crazy and make just one single little mini wall hanging. Make it a pillow or something like that. Now the going diagonal thing, just sometimes it confuses me a little. Now I even have, this is flannel. When you guys send me your scraps of flannel like this, I don't use flannel, but when you send me just a little scrap like this, I only trimmed off a little on the edges. I can use this in a zipper pouch or in a project like this. I might not want to put it in a quilt or something, but it works perfectly fine on this. Nobody's gonna know, and it adds a little bit of a texture feel to it. And it makes the sewing machine louder. Yeah, I think you can have a lot of fun. For those of you that really enjoy doing hand quilting and hand projects and stuff like that, hand stitching, you can have a lot of fun. Now on this one, yeah, I could be particular and trim off that little bit, and I probably should, but I won't because I don't have to. It's just going to add a little bit of bulk there. I'm not hand quilting it, and when I do machine quilt this, I know I won't be quilting on the actual designs. I won't quilt the star. You can do this as a quilt as you go block. Put this down on some batting and backing, or just the batting, and stitch through here as you're stitching the background down onto your reverse applique, and that counts as quilting. So you don't have to do, put it through the machine and do all the crazy quilting and stuff like that. I mean, that's my opinion. This is pretty. This has to go into my purple ornament. So I'm going to go ahead and level it off now and make it a little bit evenish. Trim off that excess. And I think even smaller strips, because when you're getting to the top of the star, or you're getting to, I mean, you can even make your candy canes purple and white. They sell them different colors. You can go ahead and save these shorter ones for those top areas. Machine embroidery, especially that metallic, did you say metallic? Oh, nope, some metallic threads would be good. I didn't want to repeat something that someone already said, because it's like all of a sudden popped in my head, probably because I read your comment. But you can have a lot of fun. And this is like string blocks. That's the only thing with the flannel, though, it catches every bit of thread. Like string blocks, it's pretty ugly. I mean, I think the purple fabrics are pretty, but it's pretty ugly until you get your next pieces on. Now this is actual, I think this is grunge fabric, I'm not sure, but it has that grunge look. Again, if I just wanted a dark purple as a solid, I can use the other side. I don't want to lose too much of this fun purple here, so I think I will just angle it slightly. The lady that designed these, that created this pattern, she has two young boys. I want to say they're like young, like 5 and 7. And they used a sewing machine and they made their own blocks. They chose their fabrics, Mom cut them all out, and the kids sewed them down. I think Mom might have used the iron for the younger boy, and then she turned them into little quilt tops for him. So for those of you that sew with your kids or your grandkids, I think that'd be great. No snow? I have a pillow I'm sitting on. No snow, Beverly? That's unusual for you. I don't hold the zipper, Robin. I put it down and move my fingers away. It stays straight. Oh, I'm more worried about me doing something weird with the rotary cutter and slicing off the pouch that I just spent a few minutes making. That's the dangerous part for me. I can get a little wild and crazy. Look at this fun fabric. Someone will recognize this because somebody sent it to me. Oh, what's this one? Let's put this one on. Do I put that one on? No, I want to use this one. And I talk to myself all the time when I'm sewing, and I'm pretty sure you guys do too. I think patterns like this, and once you figure it out, I purchased the patterns just because someone else made the designs for me and I didn't have to. I purchased the Halloween one specifically because I think there was like a bat and a pumpkin and stuff, and I didn't want to have to get out a coloring book page and make sure I had the right size and figure all that out. I'm like, let me just pay someone for their work. They're trying to raise their family and make a living, so let me support them. Like you guys so generously support me here, let me support her. And then just buy the pattern. But you can make so many different things. Like I said, it'd be really fun for an Easter one. I don't know if she has an Easter egg. I know she has just plain circles, because these ornaments just remind me of planets. So if you have a space lover, you can just use these and not put the little top silver thing on. I'm gonna have to put, am I gonna have to? Let me see if I can get away with just the silver bit. Yeah, and just have like planets and stuff like that. But Easter bunnies, things like that's what I did with the garland I was making last year. Once I learned how to do the carrots and stuff from her, I just went and searched out different things. Like when I made the ho ho ho, I just did that myself, I think. I don't think I got that from anyone. But that was fun. All right. Yeah, I just search on YouTube. I search on Google whatever I want and then write the word coloring book page and see what comes up. That's probably what it is, Beverly, whether I'm short or I'm just not comfortable. This is a dining room table, so it's not really the right height for anything that I'm doing. It's not bad for cutting and pressing, but I know my chair to sewing machine ratio isn't right because it looks like I'm a little kid sitting at mommy's sewing machine. All right, just in case we get any fusible anywhere, I like to remove that. Now, we have the ornament, and we have the background. Now for this one, I'll go ahead and find the halfway point. And since I can't see it, take my red Friction. Cats are running up and down the hall like crazy. Cats love the cold weather. And then for this, and lightly fold it that way just to give myself the guess. Now, do I want my ornament to sit straight up? Not me. You know me, I like things a little bit crooked. That way, if things come crooked on accident, you can say it's done on purpose. Now let's see if the steam made that much difference. So what I usually do is I just run it down. Look at that. I gotta check the label. What do the directions say? I thought it said no steam. Medium heat, no steam. So the steam helps my impatience Because I like to just do, like when I do my interfacing, I like to do it that way, and then I go like this. Because I'm going to press it so many times, I don't feel the need to making sure this bit of it is adhered like amazingly well. I just need it to be adhered. This one, because of cutting out the center, it wants to wrinkle, crinkle, and be weird everywhere, and that's hot. Oh, no, I don't want that one. Oh yeah, you guys probably get a lot of good things. The good news here is the last couple of weeks, some of our shrimp boats have actually been, they got the big heavy duty marine cranes out, and they got some of the shrimp boats have been getting out so that they can actually go out and start doing their work and start catching some shrimp. Because those poor shrimpers, you know, none of the boaters really have had any work since the hurricane. The charter boats that take everyone out to go fishing and stuff like that, they've been grounded. So the disaster people have been hiring them to go around and either pick up the debris that, crazy cat. Let me just double check there's not a lizard. What is your problem? No lizard, just S'moresy's being a weirdo. If I scream, it's a lizard. Exactly. I've been getting much better with the lizards, Sue. Thank you very much. If it's a snake, I'll scream. It's weird because it's this new Heat and Bond, the new package. I haven't had problems with any of the other ones. I've been buying the same ones from Amazon for the past year or so. I don't know. Maybe it's performance anxiety. Maybe it's because I'm using the Panasonic portable iron versus the other one that I usually use, the cord one. Maybe this one's hotter. Maybe if I turn it down to, well, I mean, I do have it on high heat, so that could be it right there. Boy, she's going crazy. Maybe if I turn it down to medium heat on the next one, I'll see if there's any difference. I'll have to let you know because that's the last one I'm making with you guys. But I do want to show you something that I made before you guys leave me. So I was really excited and happy. It was one of the things my daughter wanted me to make to go with the pillows for the parents. I told you guys the I love you thing. Yeah, I told you. So I actually finished it. I pulled fabric and cut the interfacing. That's what I did with the backwards interfacing. I made a left-handed I love you when I wanted right-handed ones. It's Spider-Man. It's just Spider-Man. See, so and I have this big thing. What am I going to do with it? I don't want to just throw this away, so I'm going to have to find a use for it. And this one, I can take thin strips of fabric or ribbon or the leftover zipper bits and put it on here as a decoration. In black, it just looks like a bomb. So then I put my ornament with the silver on the top. So the most important thing here is that I get some silver. So let's see what that looks like. I like it. I like it, I like it. But yeah, metallic threads on the dark, yeah, that's right. I do have a couple of metallic threads that at one point I thought, oh, everyone's using metallic threads. They say they're hard to use, but I bet you I'm so smart I can figure it out. I think a lot of it does have to do with the knowledge of your sewing machine. I'm just trying to line it up so that the little cutout here where the little corners are is going to sit nicely on that silver, so it's not like way up and there's still silver underneath, and I don't want to have the purple up in the top either. Now, I don't care if it's like exact and perfect, but I'd like to try my best. Let me turn, oh, I can turn this down now. Let me turn that down for a minute. I'm going to show you what I made while my iron is cooling down. I don't know how well this color is going to show up in the video. I could not get a good picture for my daughter. Looking at my computer, looking at here, this is pretty close. It's a little bit lighter than what I'm seeing on the computer and stuff. So as I said, I cut this out and I didn't reverse the design that I traced when I cut this on the fusible, so the thumb is all on that side. So I'm going to make some that are left-handed, some that are right-handed. Thank you. I have to say that I saw a pattern for a t-shirt on Etsy that was like this, and I thought that was so cute with the heart. I had a hard time finding things that weren't paper pieced, and some of the paper pieced ones were just weird looking, and I don't like paper piecing. And some of the applique versions, it was just, they would put the thumb, these two fingers were down onto the palm like it's supposed to be like that. So, I mean, that's like it should be. It just looks a little bit weird. So when I saw this, I thought this was really pretty. She really loves it. She's thrilled with it. And then I just found this for the back. And this is where I use the applique, stitching it down. That is the quilting. I have the heart, I have the fingers. And then just to make sure everything stays together if it gets washed, I did stitching on either side of the lighter band. So I have this one. And then in this basket, so I have my left-handed one and my right-handed. I Googled it. They said if you're left-handed, you can do I love you left-handed. Otherwise, you can do it right-handed. So I thought I had from my advent calendar, I have the peachy orangey coral one that you guys just saw. I thought I would match that up with white for that inner line. And then I had the purple with a dark purple. So I thought those would be fun. They're on my list. At least they're not holiday things, so if it takes me a little while, it'll be okay. You need extra unwind distance. I use a canning jar on the floor by my feet. Oh, so instead of, you know, I haven't tried one where I have that little stand that goes next to the machine for my threads. So instead of putting it in there, so that would loosen the tension of it so it wouldn't be so tight going through. That does make sense. And I also heard you don't put it in the bottom. You just use regular thread in the bobbin area so that you don't want to have the two of them together. I also had a variegated thread that just would not work for me. I was just a little disappointed. All right, so I have that turned down. It's not making the spitting noise anymore. Oh, because it's still flashing. It's not quite all the way down, but... Now this one, I'll definitely treat differently because I want to make sure now, of course, you're supposed to put a pressing cloth because somehow in case you get any of the glue coming up, or I guess if it flips over or something like that. Sorry, Heat and Bond, but I don't listen very well. And then you're going to put the stitching on it anyways, and that's going to be the final thing. Ooh, it's not sticking. It's really just to keep it in place while you're doing it at the machine. Let's see. Look, it didn't even stick. Ooh. I've sewn on a TV dinner tray before. That was really interesting because it moves it. Look, it didn't stick at all. Oh, you guys, it's not going to stick, Robin. I told you that wasn't the last mistake I was going to make for the day. Hi, Rose. Look, it doesn't work. It won't stick. There's something wrong with the heat and bond. Let me go ahead and call the company and complain because I can't get the heat and bond to work right. It's not my fault. It's company's fault, darn product. All right, let's try it again. I already have it back up to high. I'm using high. That's just how it's gonna be. Oops, number 2 today that you've witnessed. Yes, I was wondering. I kept seeing it. It was like not sticking. I thought, wow. And when I flipped it over, I thought, oh, I hope it doesn't move because it doesn't seem to be sticking. But I must have. Well, I guess it didn't matter because it wasn't gonna stick anyway. But I must have flipped it just nicely. There we go. Now, I'm not a fan of sewing fabrics to foundation fabrics like this. I do not like that with string quilts at all. This one's pretty thin. It's just going to be a wall hanging, so I don't worry about it too much. Connie, I'm not the only one. Nope, you guys, you're not the only ones that make mistakes. I tell you, I am just a normal person that I seem to have something to say that people enjoy hearing. So just because I'm on YouTube doesn't mean I'm perfect. And those channels that looks like they're perfect, let me tell you, they're just editing things out. They're taking out their mistakes because you just don't know. You don't know what mistakes I make unless I show you a purple bauble and then all of a sudden I show you a red one. But for what all you know is I'm just showing you different colors. But yeah, people make mistakes. I don't care how good you are. I mean, you can look at Pat Sloan because we were just talking about her. Her channel is almost up to 90,000. When she hits 90,000, she's giving away a really pretty quilt. She's doing that for every 10,000 subscribers, trying to get up to 100,000. Kind of smart. I don't have enough quilts to get us up that high. But she makes mistakes. And lately on her videos, I've been noticing she hasn't been editing out her videos as much as she usually does. So we're seeing a lot of her different mistakes and stuff like that. Yeah, Quilt TV up. Everything's perfect there. If it doesn't work right the first time, they reshoot it again and they do it again. So now with the star, the only thing I did so you guys could see the star is I went through and I just trimmed off some of this just so it didn't stick past the quilt block, so that when you saw it, you wouldn't be like, what is that weird stuff? What did Robin do? Why has she got white fabric back there? But I won't trim until I stitch it down. So once I go back through, hello purple, I meant to cut you. Once I go back through and I do about 1/8 of an inch, and I think instead of just doing a straight line stitching, I might do something a little extra. It doesn't really matter, I guess. I've been going back and forth. I need to practice my buttonhole stitch, and I thought it might be good to practice it on here because I haven't done it very much in a long time. So if I practice with black thread on the black so everything was on here, then it would just help me practice going around the curves. Dark purple zigzag. I'm not a big fan of the zigzag. A zigzag I don't mind. I'm not a fan at all of the satin stitch. I don't like the big bulkiness to it. I don't like how it, it's a lot of thread to go down and stuff like that. But something like this would be good to practice different stitches on because you won't be able to see it if I do black on black. But like you said, I could use something fun. A Halloween one to use glow in the dark thread and to do that on there. Blanket stitch, what did I say? Buttonhole. Someone corrected me the other day between buttonhole and blanket stitch because I use them interchangeably. So whatever I'm saying, if it's wrong, I apologize. Flip it the other way because obviously I do things backwards. But I think it would just be really fun to do something like that just to get the practice of going around the curves and the small areas. But I'll probably just say, you know what, forget it, and I'll just do the straight stitching all the way through there. But my Juki does have a lot of fun stitches. I could find something fun to do, but I don't know if I'd want to put a colored thread around here. Sue wrote a lot of words. I stopped to read it for a second, but she was chatting with someone else. Not me, I'm good. I don't want to deter from the yellow star by putting a bunch of yellow thread around here. I like the sharpness of it against the straight lines of the black so that you don't see it. So I think I would do that and just stick with putting, the black thread on there one way or the other. guess you could really do anything you want on each of them, even if you're putting them all in the same project. But I think that would be a lot of fun. So what do we want to do? Do we want to do the tree, or should we say goodbye? It's 4 o'clock. Should we keep going and do a tree? Or do you guys have something to do and you want to say goodbye? Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Donna. Just sticking with the straight black. I like to talk myself into and out of things all the time. Sure, the tree. We can do the tree. If I make less mistakes, it won't take as long to do. Now the tree, again, you can make them any color you want. In her, I don't know if it was in her thing or if it was on her Instagram, but she did the star in red and white and did 2 stars and 2 candy canes, I think. And I thought it was so cute that way. Sharp scissors go that way. So, oh, with the tree, I don't have the brown. I need a piece of brown. I wonder what size that is supposed to be. Probably 1 by 3 also. Excuse me for reaching in front of you all the time. So, I think I can get away with a piece of brown that's 1 by 2. I double checked for the ornament, but I forgot the tree probably needs a brown tree trunk, don't you think? Most of the time I don't care what anything looks like, but for tree trunks, I just like to have it look brown. And look, I have a piece right there that's perfect. These containers are great until they get really full, and then when you put them on the shelf, everything gets knocked onto the floor into the cat's bed. Oh, sunny, but cold. We're not even sunny, we're gloomy, and we're just Florida cold, so I'm gonna start, I'll start with brown on the bottom. That would be perfect. Stupid cushion. Put my brown right like that. Look at that. Now I don't even have to worry about what size it is, because when I put my first piece of green down, it's gonna cover it up, and I will be all set. Just like to have it semi-straight. Then I have this green that would be nice right there. So I think I'll actually stitch this. Yeah, I had to stitch it. For any of my patrons that might be hanging out with me today or watching this later, you guys know I don't fully read the directions. I have this bad habit of skimming down because I know what I'm doing for the most part. I just need to get those little bits of information on how to do something, and I tend to skim over and skip things and then miss the important stuff. I don't know if she talked about specifically how to do the tree. I'm sure she did. But I'm just going to make it up as I go along. Ooh, fog. We get a lot of fog here. I don't like fog. I don't drive in it, so I can't really complain. The only problem with that is I want to set it down. You can't just set it down. Sometimes I'll set it on the wool mat for a few seconds, but go down. Then this way, it doesn't really matter, but I have a nice crisp edge. So if I were doing this for some weird applique or something like that, do that. Not to be throwing names out all the time, but for those of you, did you watch Pat Sloan's today? She showed a Christmas tree mini wall hanging. Oh, I like that. It's free on her blog, so I'm going to have to get that pattern because I really like the way it looks. And then even this one, this has some blue in it, but I thought that was really pretty, that it might be nice for a tree. So I have this. And again, you can do straight or crooked. And since Christmas trees, you know how you draw them in school and you go like this and make those little, I'm going to do that. So it's not perfectly straight. designs like this are nice because you can put little bits like this up at the top of the tree. You don't need to have a large piece. I usually have the desk chair with the wheelies, the gaming chair out, so that I can easily just wheel. And you know, you spin your body on the chair because it swivels, and I've been spinning and taking that darn cushion with me. I can just leave this on the wool mat for a few seconds, Jody. It's not a problem. It's not gonna burn my wool mat and catch fire and burn the house down or anything. Were you here, Jody, when I was talking about having these little black specks that kept coming out of my iron? It almost looks like, yeah, I don't have, mine's pointed on both sides. So it's got a point here and a point there, so there's no, you know, there's no setting it down like you would a normal iron. That's one of my biggest issues with this iron. That and the little black specks that come out of it. I really think it's like, it's that rubber from the little wheelie. I'm sure it's not. It's probably just dirt inside the iron or something, but I just think it's the wheelie. You have to be careful. You can get going a little too diagonally when you get closer to the top, and it could cause an issue and not be able to. Absolutely, I'm lazy. I mean, I have it like next to, like, here's my wool mat and the iron is sitting right here. But to take that, to put it in the base is a lot different than the habit of just sitting it upright. You know, you press and you sit and you press and you sit, because you've got to move the fabric and do stuff. You can't just, I can't just sit here and iron all the time. I have to go to the next piece, the next quilt block, because I'm usually doing, you know, 10 of them or something. At least this one I know that my heat and bond, I didn't have to reverse it. I'm sure she mentioned it in the pattern. It just, because I wasn't planning on making the candy cane with you guys, but then I was like, I really want to make the candy cane. It looks like fun. I leave it faceplates down on the ironing board. I don't take it on and off the base every time. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Because then when I'm done and I need to come back over here to do some type of sewing, then it can heat itself back up. Not the polka dots. I want the polka dots. I need the longer polka dot. I was thinking some of these would be fun in all polka dots. And the baubles are, I like the name baubles. Thank you guys from overseas, the British, UK. I never really know exactly how to phrase it. But thank you guys for calling it baubles, whoever does, because I just think that's a nice, fancy Christmas name. And I only think, I don't know, is it only baubles if it's round? Or if you have like a Santa Claus? Am I still live? Okay. I mean, don't the spammers know that we're working? We don't have time for them. I don't have time for spam phone calls. I had the silicone mat, but then I talked myself out of it and I totally freaked out because the silicone, it seems like it gets hot and it's not very thick. So then if I sit it on, well, sitting it on the wool mat doesn't bother me, but if I sit it like on the desk, the wooden desk, then I had a total freak out that, because it kind of felt hot underneath. So I talked myself out of that one. I have fears of, after watching those scary Halloween movies, of having someone coming at me and stabbing me with a knife and grabbing the knife and having them just slice into my hand. I used to have nightmares about that. And I always worry about electricity and fire, so. Yes, yes, for the silicone mat. I'll try it. You guys tell me it's okay. I mean, if I'm standing there, I'm obviously gonna see if something catches on fire. So, I mean, it's not, and I always, when I'm done, like if I stop to have lunch or something, instead of just turning the iron off, because that one has an off button on it, like, I always unplug it, even though I'm sitting right here eating lunch. There's too many people. Had a call, missed the question. Oh, about the silicone mat. Do you guys, I mean, I just have this little thin one. Is that enough to put the iron on? That it's not going to cause any problems? That's not going to get anything hot and burn through my wool mat and catch the house on fire and, you know, all those paranoid things? Because, I mean, look, it kind of bubbles it up and stuff. Is it, maybe I just have the wrong mat. Do you leave it like that and then you come over here and you sew while it's just sitting there? Y'all are crazy. It's making me nervous. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. No, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Put a pot holder under it. The iron will cool down, but everyone says it does take a little bit for it to cool down. I'm mostly doing, when I take, and I have like 4 fabric postcards, and I'm ironing the fabric postcards, or I'm doing blocks, and I have like 4 9 patches I'm doing. So when I iron it, I need to set it down so that I can do something with the next fabric and get it, because you know how you have your fabric and you need to fold it open? I don't just go like this with the iron, because I've learned that I get that little crease of the fabric. It's not sitting right there, and my blocks are always the wrong shape. Yeah. Now those fancy Olysio irons, I keep telling myself I don't need one, because they're not cheap. And I worry about my clumsy self, and you know, knock on wood, I've done pretty good with all of my irons. They die from whatever purpose, not from me dropping them this time. But a special iron like that, I mean, I always thought that iron was so cool. You just set it down and it goes like that. You can set it down all you want. How nifty is that? But I worry. No, I worry about breaking something that expensive. That's what I worry about. All right, so let me put, I don't have any really in there. Ooh, let's do this one. A little dark on the top. I just need a little piece of fabric. So I think these go really quick. So it would take less time if you weren't sitting here talking to a room full of people. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Yeah, I just worry. Yes, fires are scary. It only takes a second for something to happen. Again, with the tree, do your fancy stitches in that little garland looking way to it. When it's sitting, why don't you turn the steam off and then just turn it back? Oh, you're asking for a little bit too much from me there. Oh no, Jody. Yeah, see, I've never tried one. And it's like, and I go back and forth. You know, one week I'll tell myself, oh, it would be really cool to have it. Especially they have that little one now. I don't know if that one's, I would imagine it's less expensive. So I thought, oh, that would be fun to have the little one. I'm just gonna let that cool off for a second. Then I say, no, 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 no. And I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you go through the same thing, you know, like, it's perfectly fine to have a $25, $30 iron. I don't need a bigger iron. And not that I don't deserve a bigger iron, but I don't deserve a bigger iron, because why spend that extra money when what you have now works perfectly fine? You know, use that money for something else. There are other things in the household. Check their site for info, 3M. Oh, laminator. Ooh. Really? Oh, that must be a big fire hazard or something, Donna, then, right? Right? Exactly. You know, food for the house, for the cats, for fabric. Maybe you want to get something new or fancy or whatever. There are a lot of things that you can spend, what are they, like $200 on or something? 9 fires, wow. Now the tree, I feel like the tree I want it to be, I don't need a crooked tree. I like a lot of wonky stuff, but I'd rather have the fabric wonky and the tree. And I'm not even, I did do the half and half, and I didn't worry exactly. I try to put the point there and, you know, whatever. See the big difference having the steam one on? The first one, it just kept curling and everything. Wow. Definitely, Donna. You don't want to learn that after a fire. And again, I know you're supposed to do this. And if I'm putting something onto a quilt and I want to make sure, but I mean, I'll do that with that Heat and Bond Red, the Ultra, that you're not going to stitch through, but I'm going to stitch this down so I don't worry as much by doing this. And a lot of times if I'm here by myself, when I do use the fusible and stuff like that, I will come through with the quilt block. And I found that this does putting a little pressure on it to making sure it's all sealed down. I definitely do this with like the fusible fleece and the different interfacings. I find that makes a huge difference. Okay. Yeah, the what ifs. Exactly, Ellen. The what ifs. You never know. I've looked at those, and I know they're really great for t-shirts and stuff, but and people who do like the really big time bag makers, the ones that do the vinyl bags and stuff, because they use a lot of interfacing for them, they swear by them, and I'm like, do I need that? Because again, it's another expensive iron. Do I need that? Is that something I really need, or can I do without? Let's see if I can cut this with the big scissors. And I know there's going to be people that say you shouldn't use your good scissors on the interfacing, the Heat and Bond like this, but yeah, I know. They can be sharpened. I don't have good fabric scissors. If my kids and my husband were still here and stuff, I do have certain things where I would tell them don't use this and don't use that and whatever. But you know, I have to switch scissors. It was worthless there. But I wouldn't, for myself, I know what I'm using and what I'm cutting. I probably wouldn't cut, I know I wouldn't cut denim or anything with those because that would really dull it quick. But just like I use my good sewing needle for stitching through this and stitching through the fabric postcards, stitching through paper, and I still make quilt blocks afterwards because it's not dull. Did I miss the funnies? They're awesome if they go on sale. I have to admit that I am a Black Friday Amazon junkie. When I see something on Amazon, when you guys mention something or I see something on another channel or wherever on Instagram and stuff, I will throw it into my to be researched wish list type thing. It's a private list that I just throw things in so that I remember, oh, I want to go back and look at that. Here's one. And because it's in there, Amazon will send me a notification when it goes on sale, which is usually around Black Friday, and that's when I tend to buy a lot of stuff. I bought a new tripod, got another one for $10, and it's supposed to be a really good one. A lot of the big fancy YouTubers use it. So again, have fun decorating it with ribbons and trims and whatnot. Watch this. I'm going to remember this time. So we have this here. You could put maybe something yellow at the top if you want to resemble a star, or you could put the star on, but I'm not making this mistake again. I'll make a new one. Again, I'm going to bring it down so that my brown is down there. I don't mind on this one having some green, because if I went really close to the edge, I would probably, see, that's it. I should have had the green go down, maybe tuck the brown under. I'll have to read the directions. But for this one, I don't mind a little green down there on the stem. It's a whole different situation in my mind. So you guys never know what you're going to learn from each other's or what I'm going to ramble on about, which makes conversations with you guys. So when you see something on a video or a live stream and you're like, oh, that doesn't interest me, or I know all about that. If it doesn't interest you, it doesn't interest you. But if you're like, oh, I know all about paper piecing or something, you never know what tidbit might come up that has nothing to do with the topic at hand. So I try to watch videos just to catch all of that little extra bits. Yes, when you're quilting it, to put a quilted star on it to give it that look. Check the tip of the tree. It looks like a piece of paper is stuck. Nope. I think you might have just been seeing the white fabric. And as long as most of it is anyways, the paper should dissolve. See, after I stitch it all down, I'll come really close and trim all of that away. You'll be able to come along here and trim anything that's not connected, because there is, the directions have you cutting 1 inch of the heat and bond all the way to the edge, and I think next time I won't do as much heat and bond. So when you stitch it, and then you can just trim along there. So let me take this ugly bit off. And of course you can do it without having the extra fabric underneath. So we did a tree. Tree and an ornament. Oh, I didn't pay attention. So, okay, I kept trying to put the fabric so it was even, and that's not, because of the way it is there, the star is not going to be perfect. That's okay. I'll pay more attention to that next time. And again, the star is a little crooked a little bit, so it'll be fine. You just have to look and see when you do something like, oh, do I like the way I did it? Or should I do it again next time? Or tweak it a little bit? So I think I will pay better attention, because I'd like the star to have the point at the top, and I can't do that with this block. This is the closest that I can get. Thank you. You know, isn't everyone so amazing? Everyone is so supportive here. You guys are always so nice. Now, you guys have been letting me make my own mistakes and not catching on, but that's okay. I'll forgive you for it. Now, these aren't trimmed down. Some of them are bigger than others. I don't have them. Like this has a 1/4 of an inch extra up top, because after you put it on, then you can square it up and trim it down to your 8.5 inches or whatever. So this is it for this year, guys. I really don't think I'll come back on before Christmas, because Christmas is on Saturday. We have 2 more Fridays before the end of the month. Who knows what might happen, but no guarantees. But nothing probably before Christmas. So Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Christmas Eve, because Christmas is a 2-day thing in my mind. Christmas Eve is when we used to always celebrate with the family. I think I go to the kids now on Christmas Day for like an hour or so, because Christmas isn't a big deal right now. They all scatter on Christmas Day. Turn a star one more time. Oh, I'm looking at it my way. There, yeah, that's much better. That's much better. Because again, I'm looking at it this way, so I can't see the point. So I'll just pay attention next time, because I stitched it this way, but I laid it down that way. So I'll pay more attention when I do it for the next one. But I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm just going to do 4 and put a candy cane here. Have one of everything. And there's also a snowman. I haven't done one yet. So you have the star, a tree, a snowman, candy cane, and a bauble. So the snowman is all white with a black hat, but of course you can make it any color, but I can't imagine doing a snowman in anything but white. But he'll really pop well off of that black background. Of course you can do any color you want for the background. Will I be on between Christmas and New Year's? Probably not as a live. I do the first and third Friday of the month, and I'm hoping to go crazy and make a bunch of videos, as much as I can possibly get done for the next 2 weeks. I have a couple things that I want to finish up to get into the Etsy shop, and then I just have some tutorials for you guys. So I just want to get as much done as I possibly can, so that when I go into January and maybe February, I can take some time off from videos and get some things in the Etsy shop, get my Patreon. Every beginning of the year, I like to rearrange my Patreon community, make sure all the tiers are looking good and they've worked good for the year, make some little tweaks there. So I have a couple little things here around the house that need to be done. So if I get a whole bunch done, then I can take like a week or 2 off of videos. The snowman and the trees would be very cute. And now, I'll do better next time, but now that I'm looking at this, that green right there is bothering me. But it's fine, because once you start putting things on, and when you take these and after you sew them down, you can put a border around each of them. Like this one can have purple around it, you know, green around this and yellow around that, and then take the black sashing the background and put that around there, and you can really bulk this out into a decent size, or you can just put them all together like this. And I think that's fine too. And if you wanted to still bulk it out, you could put a thin border of something around here, maybe a fun fabric that has like a variety of colors in it or something, or just choose, and then put a border around that and it will bulk it out again. You can also make it into a table runner. Either make it plain like that, again, bulk it out with some borders, or have 2 rows. You'll send your, oh, you'll resend your email? Okay, maybe if you just sent it today, I might not have seen it. I can't check. I gotta see you guys doing the chat, and I'm using my phone. But yeah, resend it if I missed it. I checked everything this morning, and then I've just had my head down working hard all day, and I haven't checked anything. No one else will ever notice it, no. And if this is the last tree I ever make, it'll be perfectly fine. But when I go to make another tree, I'll know, first of all, I'll read the directions to see what she does, but I'll know that I need my green to go down longer. I bet you she starts here at the tip and goes this way, because this didn't work out as well as I wanted to. So if you start at the tip and go this way and put brown on last, like we did with the bauble, then you can have that and line it up really nice. I'm doing a project with my patrons next Sunday for, we're going to do ornaments similar to this, but we're going to do applique. So is everyone good? Anyone else have any more questions? I know it's fine. I won't change it, and I will use it in a project, and I'm willing to put this in the Etsy shop. So that's how I determine things. Am I comfortable enough to put this in the Etsy shop? Yes or no. So if it's yes, then I'm good. If it's no, I'll just keep it for myself. And if I were to make another one, what changes would I make? That's just the way I look at things now. I used to look at it, am I willing to give this as a gift? Or do I need to keep it myself? Now I'm like, am I willing to accept money for this? No, there's no perfect tree. Thanks, Ellen. There's no perfect tree. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I love saying Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. And I love when you get closer to Christmas, how everyone says it. I had that flower delivery today and I said Merry Christmas and she just looked at me like I was a weirdo. Because right now in Cape Coral with the hurricane and stuff, everyone is just really, things are not normal. A lot of stores aren't open, restaurants aren't open. You still can't go to Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach, or Pine Island. I think they just opened up Sanibel for people to go out, and they only did that is so you can eat at restaurants and those restaurants can make money so that they can fix what they have. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. A star button would be really nice on that. A nice star button, or even just, you know, they have some of the larger sequins and stuff like that. You can put anything up there. But I think if I'm not going to decorate it, then it's just going to be an evergreen tree versus a Christmas tree. No one is normal right now. Yep, exactly. No one is normal. I was really shocked because I'm in my own little bubble here and I only see out the windows, front yard, backyard. And the people with the pool behind me, they had no damage to their house because it's new and they just lost their fence. Only some of their fence. Most people lost all of their fence and they lost some of the screen in their pool cage. And when I look out this way, I see like my house roof damage. But I went to Joann's and Joann's was missing like half of the front of the store. Like, you know how the store, you have the storefront and then you have that face that comes out in front of it right here. All of this was just like gone and most of the windows were broken and stuff like that. They were all boarded up. And I'm like, gee, I forget that everyone's had this damage, that it's this crazy storm was there. Bubble wrap. Well, I'm good. For me, I don't need bubble wrap, but it might be a thought for the summertime. I wonder if it would melt to my windows. Back to masks? Oh no. All right, before we get off topic and start rambling, because you know it's Ramblin' Robin, I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. These are going to, if I got to finish one more. These are not going to be in the shop before Christmas. Plus, it's getting a little too late to be ordering and shipping things anyway. We're getting close. I think what is today? The 16th, isn't the 17th the last day for regular shipping here in the US? And then priority might be, gosh, it might be the 19th or 20th or something like that. After that, just they tell you need to do overnight shipping. I don't remember. I didn't look at it because I don't have a big run on my Etsy shop. But I will see you guys on the next video for Sunday for my patrons and for you guys. We have the Advent video tonight. Totally forgot about the Advent videos because I've done all the work for them. Now they're just there for you guys to see and enjoy. Thank you guys for watching them. Bye.